So, nipples, huh? No, sir, I don't think I have any use for rubber nipples. Tell you what, though. Do you have any rubber walrus protectors? Hi again, and welcome back to Bertling Laboratories Green Meadows Sketchbook Breakdown. This is track number 7. This song is called Mall Dreams 87. Now I'm going to get into the usual thing where I do the track breakdown, but I also want to talk a little bit about what it was like for me in the 1980s as a little kid. So I was born in 1978, which some of you may or may not know, which means I graduated high school in 1996. As implausible as it seems, I got to experience 80s music in real time. And if you're all familiar with my back catalog, songs like Radio,
It was just the four of us.
or
So long, I'm living again.
there was another single that I did, and I have to find it. I can't remember what the song's called. You'll know that I have like a fair amount of nostalgia for that era. So, being a little kid and soaking in all of the sounds of that era, like, imprinted a lot of that stuff into my psyche. Now, to make things a little more interesting, I brought in a specialist to talk a little more about this. And here he is.
Hey, Bertling here. I'm Nick's dad. Just wanted to give you a little insight on why Nick is like he is. Give you a little history of his music upbringing. He started very young. He was probably a year and a half. He would just want to listen to records, want to play records, want to go to a record store, want to go any place that had music going on. He wanted it. By his first birthday, he would sit on the floor and play with all my albums. And we'd play them for him. We'd make sure that he was listening to what was out on the floor. And you couldn't give him enough. He just had to have it and have more and more and more. He was fascinated by the artwork on the albums, the albums themselves, the writing on it. He started reading at about a year and a half old, and that helped a little bit because we didn't understand all of his speech by then. And he would ask for certain records, and we'd be like, well, we don't know what you're talking about, son. And he finally got to the point where he started pointing at it because he was reading the labels and knowing exactly which ones he wanted to get. I can remember him asking for a song called Born to Be Alive, and we could not figure out what he was asking for weeks until we finally went to Cook's, I think, in the department store, and he took us to the record department, of course, and he picked it out. He read it and picked it out. He did the same thing with the McCartney tune back then, too. Just kind of freaked us right out because we didn't realize he was capable of reading by that time. Nick would, when he was about, I don't know, I guess about a year and a half, 2 years old, he would sit in his closet in his bedroom with his little tiny, kiddie record player. And he would play Billy Joel, and he would play Kiss, and he would play all kinds of records all the time, just always something blasting out. And he just had to have it. I mean, he just kept doing it.
Okay, so what I have up here is Mall Dreams 87. Like every one of my songs, starts with a junk title or no title at all, which is, completely common for me. This one was called Fifth's Jerks, which means absolutely nothing other than this song started out with a click and the output from my Casio keyboard. In fact, in Magic Marker on top of my Privia PX310, I have numbers of presets like fifths. It's like 126 and 137 are in like the general MIDI thing. Just things that I like on this keyboard. And I kept this. I don't know how to. I don't remember what I played exactly, but that's what you get. Is that, and then it starts to merge with other. Let me take it back to the top. There is. And those are all VSTI synths that I use.
Let's take a ride to Golden Rings Mall in my time machine.
This song is definitely under 24 tracks. What you're seeing is a lot of parent tracks and stuff. There's, like reverb, second reverb, vocal bus. Like none of these, they count on the track count, but there's not actually something new on there. It's a pretty simple arrangement. It's drums. Let's see. So drums. Kick drum. All recorded here. Outside kick. That's I have my 26-inch kick drum that I used to use live, and I would set it up in front of the kit, tuned up with a microphone, which I have internally mounted, and I just EQ'd it. As you can see, it's got like 200 EQs on here, and it's just going boo. Yeah, it's probably got snare drum has either a towel or the big fat snare drum thing, or like a head that I taped on there, so it's real dead. And I know that Tom's the rack tom and floor tom definitely have like socks taped to them. I keep socks and other weird stuff down here just when I'm trying to get that sound. This is the overheads. Oh, I had a screwed up sounding room. It's probably the back of the room somewhere. Yeah, that's the basement. It's just a stereo mic that I have. So that's drums. Guitars.
No, it ain't there no more. Records and
So these are two overdubs of my Squier Stratocaster. And it's direct in. It's a Squier Strat with a set of Fender Lace sensors in it. I know some of you are like, oh my god, really? Why? This is why. It's position 2 and position 4 on a 5-way switch. It's that instantaneous, mid-80s nostalgic guitar sound.
just let me take up records and
Sorry, let me run it back to the top here. That's the bass guitar. That's my Squier jazz bass. Got a couple of EQs, some compression. I take the E. Honestly, it probably doesn't even need all that crap. It just needed to be louder.
time machine.
Shaker. That's sitting on the floor somewhere behind me. Yeah, I got some verb on this vocal
Would you
now.
like to come with me? I'll get some lunch at the first floor Burger King, a Whopper with some cheese. 64 ounces of Dr. Pepper now. And it's all for me. Take a walk down to the fountain.
Yeah, so there it is. I mean, it's drums, couple of guitars, a bass, 3 keyboards, and me singing, and that's really it. There's not a ton to it. I mean, it's like I said, I start these songs and I don't have any idea how I'm gonna start them. I haven't written them. I sat down and I started playing those fifth shapes, and this is what came out eventually. It took me a couple of days to sort of sort out what I wanted to say, but it's a little piece of nostalgia about it's a daydream. It's a daydream about going back in time to a mall that no longer exists, that I have, weird, fuzzy, fond memories of. So much of that era of the, mid-1980s, going shopping with your parents and, just all of the weird stuff that existed back then. Anyway, there's that. All Dreams 87. Well, that wraps it up for today's edition of Mall Dreams 87 and how I made it, how I did it. Hope you guys are enjoying the new album. Hope you're enjoying these videos. If you have questions, please put them below. If you do not and you like what you hear, please tell a friend about this album. I'd love to have more people listen to this because I guess one has to believe in what someone is doing. And it's tough when you're all alone. You don't have a camera operator or anything. Anyway, have an awesome day. Thank you so much.